And we're joined with Clark County Clerk Diana Alba. Diana, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, we're here in the Marriage License Bureau. The numbers of weddings, the marriage licenses and weddings are down across the board, not only here in Clark County. Why is that?
You know, it's very hard to say. I think it has a lot to do with the marriage demographic is shrinking. You know, the baby boom population was the largest, generation that we've had. And since then, the population has actually been shrinking. And so there are fewer people that are marriageable age. Numbers aren't just down in Las Vegas, as you said, they are down across the country. And our numbers were actually shrinking even during the boom years of the economy. So I don't think we can blame it all on the economy, although the economy has definitely had an impact. Because it's kind of hard if you don't have a job or you don't have a stable job to say, I'm ready to get married and I want to start a family. So the economy has an impact, but I think there are other issues as well.
So let's break these numbers down. I think we peaked here in Clark County about 128,000 marriage licenses issued in 2004. How many last year?
Just under 92,000. Which is a fairly precipitous drop if you look at the percentage, although from 2009 to 2010 we only dropped to 0.5%, which is a much lower drop than we had experienced before. But I was recently actually in Honolulu on a trip with my husband, and they printed a graph in their paper about their numbers being down, and interestingly it followed the same trend. They also peaked in Hawaii the same year we peaked, and their decline followed pretty much the same path as ours. So as I said, this isn't unique to us.
How is this affecting your operations? I mean, obviously you're down 28%. I mean, and the folks are charged. You charge what,
it is $60 for a license fee. So that does generate revenue for the county and for the state, actually. $25 of every marriage license fee goes to support statewide domestic violence programs. Another $4 goes just to the state general fund, and then the remainder, which is $31, goes to the county general fund. So there has been an impact on revenue generated. One thing that we have done here to save costs is in 2006 we eliminated the graveyard shift on the weekends and holidays. We had always been open around the clock from Friday morning until Monday morning, but we really weren't issuing that many licenses in those overnight hours, and that was a very costly shift to maintain because of extra security, shift differentials. So we eliminated that shift, which has received good and bad reviews. Some people in the wedding industry are still very unhappy that we don't have those overnight hours, but really cost-wise we could not continue with it, and we couldn't justify it because the numbers are down. So.
And let's face it, Clark County is still the wedding capital of the world, and you're thinking outside the box. You and the folks in the wedding industry are looking at some sort of commitment renewal type ceremonies to generate a little revenue, but also give people the Las Vegas wedding experience. Is that right?
That's true. And actually, some people in the wedding industry actually came to me and said, could we consider doing this? Because chapels for a long time have offered vow renewal ceremonies to their clientele, but customers have never had the ability to come to the clerk's office and get a special commemorative certificate that included the county seal and something kind of fun. And what I've been told is that particularly couples that come here from foreign countries want to do the whole package. They want to have the limo ride to the clerk's office, get the certificate, and then renew their vows. So I talked to the civil DA's office. They felt like we could do this by county ordinance, and so we have a meeting scheduled with people in the wedding industry to explain what we want to do, how we would go about it. The renewal of vow certificate would not be required because the whole purpose is that it is just a keepsake. And so it would definitely be an option, but if it's an option a couple wants to have, they have the ability to do that.
Oh, very exciting, very interesting. Obviously nowadays same-sex marriages are gaining a lot of traction. New York just became the 6th state to legalize same-sex marriages. Is there anything we could do to give an unofficial or let same-sex folks have a similar type of ceremony, what you just discussed, or is that something that state laws or county laws would need to be changed?
Well, I would be very hesitant to do that for one reason, and that is that same-sex marriage is prohibited by Nevada state law and in the state constitution. So if we were to issue some type of commitment certificate to same-sex couples, I fear it could be confused as a marriage license, as a legal marriage. And so I don't think we're going to pursue that, just because I just want to make sure there's never any confusion about that matter, because it is prohibited by law. However, same-sex couples for many years have been able to come to Las Vegas and have a commitment ceremony at one of the wedding chapels. Most chapels offer commitment ceremonies and have special certificates and provide that service. So when we get an inquiry from a same-sex couple, we explain to them that we are not able to issue any kind of a document, but they should contact someone in the wedding industry, and most likely they will find somebody that will be more than happy to provide them with a very nice ceremony.
Very interesting. Diane, let's talk about some of the clerk's other duties. You're Board of County Commissioners in most of the major meetings. You're kind of the 8th commissioner sitting up there in the dais, and that's part of an awesome part of your responsibility, is to ensure that the minutes and everything that happens in those meetings are accurately accounted for and public record.
That is correct. I serve as the clerk to the Board of County Commissioners, and that means that I'm the record keeper for the county commission meetings. As you said, not only do we record the minutes, but we keep the vote record. We file all the county contracts. Anytime the county is sued, generally we accept the service of the documents. And the idea behind that is that the clerk serves as an independent record keeper. So because I am a separate elected official, I'm able to be objective and record those meetings in an objective way, where nobody could accuse me, say, of trying to protect one of the commissioners, or not being fully disclosing different information, because I am able to operate independently.
Couple other duties, Notary Publics. I didn't realize that your office actually certifies folks that want to become Notary Publics. Just talk about that procedure or what it takes.
That's correct. People who file to become a notary, they first need to go through some training sponsored by the Secretary of State. When they've completed that training and completed the application process, they then come to my office to take the oath of office and to file their bond. The notary bonds are filed with my office. So we are at the conclusion of the process. And if someone has a complaint about a notary, maybe something wasn't notarized correctly, or there was some kind of misbehavior on the part of a notary, then they contact my office, and we in turn work with the Secretary of State on seeing if any kind of disciplinary action needs to be taken against a notary. That does not happen very often, but it does happen.
Passports and passport renewals, you're also kind of the point of contact for the federal government also?
We are a passport acceptance agency, similar to the post office. So we don't actually process the passports, but people come here, we accept their applications, their fees, we package everything up and send it to the passport agency in Los Angeles, the same as the post office does, and we do full passport service. In fact, we get a lot of families coming in because the post office has very limited hours and we have more extended hours, so people just find it a little more family friendly. They can come here in the afternoon after school, or we can take a little bit more time with them. But we generate a little bit of revenue for the county, being a passport acceptance agency.
And as another function within the business community, a little bit more, or individuals, fictitious filing, doing business as. Talk about your role in helping businesses make sure they're named correctly.
Well, one of the first things a business needs to do, in fact, before a business can even open their bank account, they need to file a fictitious business name with our office. And we have a very good relationship with all of the banks. If they have new businesses coming to them, they actually keep copies of our forms on hand and direct the new business owners to our office, because once they establish their business name, then they are able to open their bank account in that name. And one of the purposes behind the fictitious business name is for the public to be able to know the name of the person behind the business. So if there is a problem with the business, or someone wants to contact the owner, they can contact my office and say, who is the owner of XYZ dry cleaning, or whatever the business is.
Diana, we've talked a lot about your fees. Those are all set by statute, either by the legislature or the county commission, I presume?
Yes, they actually are all set by the state legislature. The county commission isn't even able to get involved on that level for the most part. And say, like for fictitious business names, the fee for that is $20. That fee hasn't changed in years and years, but we did do, I think, about $17,000 last year. So again, that generates a little bit of revenue for the county, which is always a good thing.
Diana, you were the assistant clerk for almost a decade. You've been the county clerk now for a few years, and you've been with the office for 15 years, despite your very youthful appearance. How has the county clerk's role, how has this office changed in the 26 years you've been with Clark County?
Well, it has changed a lot. Of course, people always talk about the growth when they talk about a couple of decades in a particular place in Clark County. But when I first began with the county, I actually worked on the court side. The county clerk for since actually the county was organized in 1909, the county clerk served as the clerk of the district court, and we kept, in addition to keeping the commission records, we kept all of the district court records. That changed in 2007, January 2007, so a few years ago. So that actually was a big change. So we now have a much smaller staff, much smaller scope of work, but we still maintain the duties that we have now. So that was a big change. I actually don't miss it very much because I like the office the size it is now. Most of the staff here have been with us for many years, so we have a great team, and it's actually a pretty fun place to work, especially the marriage license office, because generally this is a happy place. It's not a place where people are coming to pay their taxes or pay a court fine or something that is not a pleasant experience. Generally, when couples come here, they're at a very happy time in their life, and so it makes for a fun place.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us, telling us what you do, and keep up the good work as an elected official in Clark County.
Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you, Diane.
My pleasure.